A few years ago. It was late May, and I was touring a number of schools outside of Lexington in Kentucky. And frequently, the end of the school year is when a lot of schools book assemblies. And, of course, it's a very busy time then. And I was working all around the area in Lexington. And Friday came, and I was checking out of my hotel Friday morning, and the receptionist at the desk said, "You're getting out just in time." I said, "What are you talking about?" She said, "It's prom night. It's going to be insane here." I said, "Oh, well, it's a good time for me to go home." Well, I went to my schools. I had a school in the morning and then one in the afternoon north of Lexington. And about 3 o'clock when I would finish my work, the media specialist who had hired me to come into the school to do my programs asked me how I was going to be getting home. I said, well, I was planning to drive down 75 to catch I-40 outside of Knoxville. And she said, it was a Friday night. It's going to be pretty heavy traffic. And watch out because the roads won't be very safe. It's prom night. And there are going to be some crazy people on the highway. She said, the Cumberland Gap, the Cumberland Highway is opened up 25E. It's going to be less traffic, and it's a lovely drive. And you might want to try cutting across that way, maybe get yourself over to Johnson City and come back to Asheville that way. And I thought, well, that sounded like an interesting idea, and maybe it would be good to be out of the heavy rush hour Friday evening traffic. So I thanked her, and I got on the road, and I was in the early phases of the end of the day, end of the week traffic there as I went through the loop around Lexington and got onto 75, and I headed south. And about an hour later, just outside of Corbin, I found a little steakhouse, and I pulled in to have some dinner. And sure enough, the place was filling up with boys in tuxedos and girls in white satin. And their hair all done up and brightly colored corsages. It was prom night, and I sat down and ate my dinner, and I thought about prom night. I never went to prom. Never did that in high school. I was a long-haired, poetic hippie, and it was just too bourgeois a ritual for me. Besides, my older sister's best friend had died in a car crash on prom night a few years before. So I always associated it with death. And as if to underscore that feeling in me, I heard tires squeal as somebody was laying down rubber and laughingly driving out of the parking lot and barely missing an oncoming car and spinning around the corner and going off. So I got in my car thinking only of getting away from prom night. Getting down the highway, and it started to rain. And the 18-wheelers boxed me in. I got caught in one of those highway hallways where you're between two giant 18-wheelers and there's nothing to do but endure this canyon that is moving at 70 miles an hour and trying to find my way. And as a result, I missed the first exit there for 25E to get onto Cumberland Highway. But as I pulled out ahead of those trucks, I saw that there was an exit for 25W up ahead. So I worked my way to the exit lane, and now my wipers are on and they're delayed, and they're going occasionally down, and they're startling me as they stop, and then they start again as they're pushing away, and now I'm turning it on to low as they go into regular rhythm. As I get off the highway to get onto 25W, I figure W is west, east is east, E is east, and so if this is 25W, all I have to do is turn left instead of go right, and I'll go back and I'll get myself onto 25E, and the rain is coming down a little bit harder now, and it's dark. And I'm trying to find my way back to 25E, but I get my way in through Woodbine, and I end up on Highway 6, the Barberville Highway. And the rain is coming down even heavier now, and so I see a Little Debbie snack truck in front of me, and it's delivering snacks to little Quick Marts. And so I'm getting behind it and trying to get as close to it as I can, as safely as I can, but to stay with its taillights in front of me to help me navigate the darkness on this strange winding road. And I realize I'm kind of lost, but I'm kind of going in the right direction. So I figure if I follow this to Barberville Highway, it'll get me to Barberville, and then I'll pick up the Cumberland Highway when I get up to Barberville. So I'm twisting and turning, and then the Little Debbie snack truck pulls off and goes in another direction. And so now I have just the darkness in front of me and a winding road and no street lights at all, and the rain coming down hard, and a car's coming up behind me, doing the same thing to me I was doing to the truck, following my taillights. high pickup truck behind me, the high lights coming right into the mirror, nearly blinding me. And the rain is coming down, and it's getting tenser, and I'm getting white-knuckled on the car as I'm going down. And the road is twisting and turning as I'm working my way through this mountainous path, this winding road going up to Barberville, and I realize I've got to stop. I'm just insisting on going, and I've got to stop, and I see a white roadside marker at a tight curve just up ahead, so I pull off to the side, and I get off of the shoulder, onto the shoulder of the road there, right by where that white marker is standing, and the rain is pouring down, and that car that was behind me has likewise pulled off the road, and it's pulled off behind me, and I'm feeling this tingling sensation. It's the kind of tingle that they often talk about in ghost stories when there's the presence of a ghost, but it's also the kind of tingle that's associated with lightning striking. And this is a thunderous storm that's blowing all around me. And there is a sudden crash and a flash of lightning there. And then I look outside my window, and there's a girl. There's one of those white satin prom girls outside my window holding a satin sash over her head and peering in at me. And I think, oh, my goodness, she's caught out here in the storm. How can this be? Where is she from? Where am I? Where are we? And I'm reaching over to let her in, but then the truck that's behind me has its lights flashing and blinking. And the girl goes to the truck. And out of the truck, as I look through the pouring water cascading down my back window, an old man steps out in a slicker with a John Deere cap, and an old woman on the other side with a bundle of flowers in her arms. And they come out of the truck, and the girl is there, the white satin girl, and they're embracing her, and they're hugging onto her and holding onto her. And again, I feel that tingling sensation as though there's about to be yet another crash, another lightning flash. And then the man and the woman get into the truck, and the girl is gone. And the truck slowly passes me, and I look at them, and they're looking at me. And they drive on. But I saw no girl in that truck, and I see no girl beside the road. I scooched over, and I looked out the passenger side, and there where I saw the white marker where I had stopped, I see that it's a roadside memorial. And there's a cross there. And the words, Virginia, 1981. And the picture of a heart with wings. And the word, forever. And at its base, the bundle of flowers. And I drive on. And I do make my way to a McDonald's outside of Barberville, and I get a hot cup of coffee. And then I get on the highway. And I make my way down 23 onto 26, and I make my way through Johnson City, and I come up out of the storm through Sam's Gap, thinking all the while about prom night. Virginia. Forever. I came up through Sam's Gap, and just as I was coming out of Tennessee and out of the storm, I could see the starry night spread out before me, bright and clear. And I thought, those stars, some of them have been shining for 30,000 years, some for 3,000 years, and some of those stars are no longer there. But their light shines on forever.